Cool. Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much for donating. All right, let's dig into your stuff. Okay. Cool. 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 Things are loading a little slow, but that's again probably my computer. Okay, dope. So first thing, straightforward. You have board samples in both single panel and 4 up, which is super, or I guess 16 up, which is super cool. So I can easily flip through stuff. Okay, so my first judgment is okay. He's got four board samples, or I guess this one hasn't loaded yet, so I'm assuming that that's a board sample. But four board samples. Okay, cool. Some style frame samples. Cool. Four board samples, which looks like a pretty good amount. And then if I want to dig into stuff later, figure drawing, sketches, illustrations, dope. So I'm gonna dig right into the boards, and I'm gonna click through. Things are loading kind of slow. Cool. So this is probably my computer. Whoops. Or this is definitely my computer. There we go. Let me go back to the beginning. Cool. On the stars, go down. Boom, boom. Okay. So empty. Okay. So I walk in. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool. Okay. Got some nice fun drawings. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Some fun drawings in there. Cool. Really easy to flip through, which is good. Cool. So you have the sound effects in there, which are nice because that tell me that you're thinking. Shoot, they're just telling me that you're thinking in film. And film language is good, and then I can read your storyboard, or I know how to read your storyboard by. I know how to read it because you have an off-screen sound effect, and then the characters look at it, or the characters react to something. So cool, I get that, which is good. Cool. Jeez. Sorry, I keep clicking on the non-arrows. Okay, that was a nice crossfade. Cool. I'm guessing this is either jeez. This is either memories or a fantasy. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, duh. Thanks, Cameron. Cool. So we're looking up. Cool. 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 Okay. Okay. Cool. So my first take on your stuff is okay. So there's a lot of board samples there, and you obviously like boarding because you're doing it a lot. Um, I'm guessing you don't have a lot of professional storyboarding experience just based on the camera work. That's my first thought. So let me actually go to your resume and pull it up. Okay. All right. Cool. 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 Oh, okay. So you're studying at SCAD right now. Okay. Cool. Visual arts major. Okay. Cool. 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 the experience, your resume, yeah, matches kind of with what I was feeling from your work. Um, so cool, 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 cool. So looking at your stuff, my first thought would be, this person isn't necessarily quite ready for a storyboard revisionist job. Um, like your writing is really fun. Your writing is fun, and I like how you're thinking in film with the sound effects and whatnot. Uh, Let me expand that. Tablet mode on this thing is a little wacky. Very cool. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And I like how you're thinking with sound effects and dialogue and whatnot too. I can tell from your camera work that we've got some work to do as far as learning how to move the camera, as far as when to cut, when not to cut. Like this is a nice shot. Cool. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Um, so in this sequence, so we're panning down from the sky. I get that. We see the empty, the saucer, or sorry, the fuel gauge flashing empty. We see some hands. I see the hands there, and then they go down. Okay, so I wasn't quite sure. On first view, I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at there, or what I was supposed to get from that. If that was the intent, or it's like, okay, cool, we're not sure what these things look like. Cool, but I wasn't quite sure. I'm just communicating that. Now I'm assuming this is from. I'm assuming this is from inside the supermarket. Um, and I'm a little confused, and I only know that because I browsed or I looked at later. I'm a little confused then why it's dark in there, because if a supermarket or if a Quickie Mart or a 7-Eleven, if we're shooting from inside it, the lights would be on. So I wasn't sure what we were looking at from there to there. Once you cut in here, I see exactly, or I know exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at the inside of the store, and this is the nice reveal shot. And some people would be annoyed that this is a security cam view where we're looking down and there's no necessarily point of view on the aliens, but I'm okay with that because this is your reveal shot of where they are. And then when we cut from here to here, it's not a great cut because of a couple of things. Number one, your horizon line is right about here, and in the next shot, it's within the same third of the field frame. I guess your horizon is about here. So, and that our characters are full frame. This is a full shot with 3 characters, or I guess 4 characters, or 5 characters here. But it's a full shot on these characters that we're seeing. And then when we cut to the next thing, it's another full shot. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing in this shot. I'm not sure what we're getting by this cut. I'm not sure if now we're just supposed to be in this guy's story, or if we're supposed to be in the alien story. What this shot is saying to the audience, what I'm supposed to be looking at. Yeah. Like every time you cut, your shot should be able to be summarized in a sentence that forwards a story, if that makes sense. So, like, okay, so this is a nice cut. So now we pan down. We're like, okay, space. We're on space, and from space probably came these aliens, or probably came this UFO. And okay, this shot says, now this new panel says, okay, they're on empty. So the aliens are probably stuck on Earth, and then that shot is about them going down. This is about, okay, darkness, and then this shot says, our characters are here. All right, cool, I get that. And then this shot says, oh, okay, our characters are here in this Quickie Mart or in this 7-Eleven. And then here, I'm not sure what this shot is saying. I'm not sure how it's forwarding the story. And then this I get their this shot says, oh, okay, they're either stealing stuff or they're stocking up and putting it in a bag, or like they're shopping. And then here, this tells me they're throwing it in a trash can. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure if that's a trash can or if that's a thing that, or if it's the thing that the aliens have in order to store stuff. So I'm not sure what that's saying, unfortunately. And then this shot is okay. This shot we're cutting to the cashier's. So this is a good cut. We're cutting to the cashier's point of view, and he's engaged in his own story. Cool. So this shot is saying, oh, now we're going to follow the cashier's point of view for a little bit. And then this shot is good. So this shot basically tells me. So this to this basically tells me the clerk sees. The clerk sees that the aliens are doing all this stuff. So that's a good cut. And now we're cutting to here. Okay, I guess they're packing up stuff. Okay, all right, cool. So that's now I'm putting it together a little bit more that they're packing up stuff for whatever purpose. So this to this, I'm not sure what additionally we're getting by cutting. If you're going up to their faces just to say let's go, just to say okay, they're finished packing up stuff, you probably could have done that in a pan, or just putting panning the camera up rather than cutting, because every time you cut you risk losing your audience, because your cut has to be a completely new sentence. It has to be it has to be a completely new sentence that establishes new things. Whereas if like you're panning from these guys up to there, then it's like, okay, they're done. Then the sentence becomes, okay, they're done packing up and they're ready to go. So this new shot isn't a visual reveal of any new information. So it could have probably been just a pan. Okay, let's go. Cool. And then look at Steve. Steve, what are you doing? Okay, that's a good, fun reveal. It's a cut, and this shot is saying, or this shot asks the question, Steve, what are you doing? And then this shot answers the question, okay, he's drinking from the Slurpee machine, which is a good cut. What? I just wanted some of the freeze cheese. All right, dope. Then this is nice, where the guy walks in. Now, I'm not sure. I guess he's walking left to right, which is cool. But I'm not sure, acting-wise, I'm not sure why the clerk isn't straight up addressing the guy who was drinking straight from the Slurpee machine, because that seems like the thing that the guy would be reacting to most. Not necessarily the guy stealing anything, but he's gonna address this guy that was doing this pretty gross thing first, because that seems like, in order of priority, the most out of bounds thing that they're doing. Like drinking straight from the machine is way more out of bounds than putting stuff in its own container. So I feel like this should be the problem that the clerk was first addressing, but he goes addressing to the aliens, and then we pan up to this guy. So okay, so then he slips. So I guess you're doing that just to set up the slip, but I feel like that could have been done with him addressing the alien that was drinking straight from the Slurpee machine. So, and then this is a little wacky because we pan up to him and then he slips, and then we pan back down to Steve. And then this is a pan, right? Not a cut. Okay, so yeah, we're panning down to him. All right, cool. I feel like we didn't necessarily need to pan down because it's pretty clear what he slipped on. Oh, is this revealing that he's dead? Oh, okay, cool. Well, all right, cool. So if you're panning down to reveal that he slipped on this and they're not sure how he feels, I would have panned down to the guy or to the clerk's face so that the pan down becomes a reveal that this guy has knocked himself out or that he's unconscious. Because here, this is the first. This is the first where I'm seeing where I'm seeing the clerk is knocked out when we could have done it in reveal on his face. And once we reveal on his face, or once we reveal on his face that he's knocked out, it becomes a little more clearer. It becomes a little clearer how these guys are going to react to it. Okay, and then this is a little bit of a jump cut because our eyes. This is the thing. They were on this guy, and that's where my eye is looking because he's the closest to camera. And then that to that is a little bit of a jump cut because he's in the same position, or sorry, that his face is kind of in the same position, and the camera is just kind of coming around. So this is a bit of a jump cut, and it feels like this guy's is kind of hitting us in the face. It feels like we've swung the camera around continuously and not like this is a cut. So this shot to this shot aren't different enough to, I think, justify a cut. Okay, and then this guy. Whoa. And I think you've got a little bit of a right to left problem here. No, he's not. We'll take care of this. Just go bring the fuel cell to the ship. Cool. So I guess we're following this guy who will start bringing the fuel cell to the ship. But it's just revealed in. Okay, so that's a fuel cell. All right, cool. So it's just revealed in this shot. It's revealed in this shot that he's going to go pick up the fuel cell, but it's not quite clear from this. And then when we're cutting to the shot, like immediately, I think something's going to come out of the door. So if your reveal is that something's going to come to the door, it's coming. It's coming a little late because this shot is exclusively about the door and the canister. So I'm not quite sure what this shot is saying. And then you've got a little bit of a problem because if this character is here and looking at the door, and the next shot is supposed to be him noticing that somebody is at the door, and here he's looking left to right, and then in this shot he's looking right to left. So if that's the same character, it looks like you've broken the 180 line, which we talked about it in an early thing. And the 180 line is, excuse me, I'll erase my rainbow hoppy. The 180 line is if this is character A and this is character B, and they're talking to each other and they're facing this way, as soon as you put the camera on this side, you are establishing a line of action, and you should be shooting on. You should continue to be shooting on this side unless one of the characters crosses through, or unless you actually see the camera rotate around and change direction. So, because otherwise you'll end up in that situation if your camera's here and you're looking on character A, they are looking right to left, right, and then you put your camera here for the counter shot. This guy will also, or this person will also be looking left to right. So it confuses the audience. It makes us not feel like we're actually, or that these two characters are actually talking to each other. It's kind of think of conversations kind of like a tennis match, where or everything like a tennis match where here's the court, and you have your player here, and you have your player here. If you're watching the ball go back and forth, and that's basically what a conversation is. A conversation is a ball being tossed back and forth between two people. You want to have your camera here, and then you want to be like swiveling and looking back and forth between these two people. So you want to be looking like here, and then when you watch the ball, you're moving your head and looking here. So think of that as like a tennis match. Think of a conversation like a tennis match where you're watching the ball being batted back and forth, and you want to stay on one side of the court, because if you start moving to the other side of the court, you're going to confuse your audience. So looking at that, I see some basic problems with camera work, and yeah. So if you want to focus on storyboard jobs specifically, I would focus on your camera work. Really dig into where you're placing your camera and how where you're placing your camera and how you're shooting your characters and what you're trying to say with a specific shot. And I would also try. I don't know, your alien characters are more successful, I think, than your human characters because you're using basic shapes for using more basic shapes for your anatomy. But I would try drawing some of your favorite cartoon characters and really looking at how they're constructed out of basic shapes, basic appealing shapes, and really start breaking down those characters so that you kind of internalize those basic shapes, because animation is really based on basic shapes. I mean, like I was saying in another portfolio, like Poppy from Trolls is kind of complicated, complicated model, but really her head is really a sphere, and then there's a lot of things, so you can really simplify your characters that way. And by drawing basic animated shapes, it'll help make your drawings more appealing. I mean, if you look at Fairly Odd Parents, like half the characters are like a square, and then a square, and then a half circle there, and then or a rectangular another half circle there, and then another square, and then the eyes are circles. Like if I'm drawing Timmy Turner is basically kind of a D, and then circles for eyes, and then a half circle, and then a half circle there, and then his mouth gets. Excuse me. It's kind of a D, and then a circle. Wow, one dude does everything. Timmy Turner, here's a D. He's a circle, sphere, boom, 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 and then another half circle. So, and then a circle there, boom, boom. So breaking even the more complicated characters, Rapunzel, Ariel, the Beast, those use a combination of head shape or a combination of basic shapes to make animated characters. I mean, there's a sphere, and then there's kind of this half cylindrical solid that goes after it, and then Glen Keane will make this complicated head shape based on simple characters or simple shapes. So practice your basic shapes and your basic construction in order to make your drawings more appealing and more able to be animated, because the more that you use basic shapes for your stuff, the easier it'll come off in animation, and actually the more appealing your drawings will be. So yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. Yeah, I hope that was helpful, and yeah, keep up the good work.